Focus today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. And of course, this is the 24th recognition of the 9/11. Oops, you dropped your microphone there. Oh, you're completely dropped out. All right. We'll give you a little emergency in here, folks, with another microphone. Anyway, before I introduce Debbie Hicks, we got to get her another mic, guys. And that is, she's, I'm going to say a little bit your story while we get you remiked. Yeah. But anyway, she went to Ground Zero 9 days after, well, it was actually 9/11. Nobody could fly for about 9 days. Am I getting that right?
You got that right.
And you got on the first flight and you went back there. And out of that comes an amazing story, and she's put it in a book called Remembering 9/11. There's a picture of the book on the screen. And as we talk, this book is being published and should be out shortly. I have it in binder form here, and of all of her experiences of going to Ground Zero on one of the first flights that people were allowed to get back on an airplane, and especially go back into New York. So good to see you again. Thank you. All right. Well, hi.
Hi there.
How you doing? Good. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
The book's being published.
Yeah.
It'll be out when?
It'll be out probably February, March.
Okay, good. And what inspired you to do that?
To go to New York?
No, well, write the book, yeah, and go.
Yeah, well, it's a long story, but I was actually starting to write a new book about my experiences with the Army National Guard.
Okay.
For 8 years, I supplied them with everything they needed that they couldn't get through the Army.
All right.
And so before I could write about the National Guard, this was my first story because this was started the wars. Mm-hmm. And so I was just going to talk briefly about our time in New York. And then when I started writing, I couldn't stop because I realized so much happened when we were there that this had to stand on its own.
Why did you go to New York right after? I mean, you're one of the first flights that left town to go back there. Why did you do that?
Because it's a little complicated, but we were called. When God calls you to go, mm-hmm. you go.
Okay.
So,
and what was your mission? What did you want to do?
Well, that's the other thing that's people don't normally do. Mm-hmm. They go without a plan. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes when we're so planned out, when we try to serve God, there's no room for Him mm-hmm. to do what He would like to do.
Right.
So if you go with nothing and just waiting for Him to tell you what to do, all of a sudden you start doing things that you never knew you would do.
So what did you end up doing?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we had these T-shirts. I don't know if any. I don't want to drop this again, yeah. But thank you. Yeah, let's put it. Oh, that. Yeah, we had these T-shirts that we made, and basically,
God loves New York.
God loves New York.
Yeah.
And we had 500 of these shirts, and what we wanted New York to know that in the midst of this horrible, horrible situation, God was there mm-hmm. and He loved them. Mm-hmm. And so that was our goal, to somehow get God's message out that He is there and we can bring Him to, He wants to go
right.
to these places, but He needs to be brought.
So I have some pictures, by the way, these will be in the book of you there. You're handing out the T-shirts. You're meeting with all kinds of people on the ground there. What happened to you when you went there and you saw it?
Well, it was horrifying because you don't, it's so different from us watching it on TV and actually being there. It took 100 days till they couldn't even put the fires out for 100 days. Mm-hmm. And just the, kind of like what we're going through today, just the overwhelming sadness mm-hmm. of grief and the loss of life. I mean, there were people, thousands of friends and families still looking for the ones that were lost in the
right.
towers.
Right.
And so it kind of reminds me of today, mm-hmm. how we feel today, that it's an emotion of like a rough sea of emotion. But what God showed me when we were there is that He is the anchor in the storms. And right now, we're being tossed around like a rough sea, but he is always the anchor. And that's kind of what he showed me, is that he's in the midst of the worst times in life.
What do you want people to get from? When will the book be out? About February, you think?
Yeah,
Okay.
February.
So what do you want the takeaway of the book to be?
I think that what really spoke to me is heaven is, in the Bible, 600 times heaven is spoken about. Just in the New Testament, it's 276 times heaven. And I want people to realize that we need to talk about heaven more, because that's our hope.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of restored my hope, because I actually, there was the St. Paul Chapel that was less than 100 feet away from the towers.
Right.
The Twin Towers were on 7 acres.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize that. It was a huge, huge property. There were 7 buildings behind the towers that also burned. But the little chapel didn't burn. It was less than 100 feet. And what God showed me is it was built in 1777. Went through civil wars, fires, but it stood still. It was still standing. And that's what God showed me when I looked at it, that it was like an anchor, that it's still there.
Yeah, it is. I've been in that chapel.
Oh, you have?
Oh, yes. I went to 9/11 about a year or so after, or to the ground zero, I should say. So here we are 24 years later. And on the heels of a tragedy yesterday, it's almost too hard to take in. It's almost too hard to process. But I'm pleased to see that we're still ringing the bell. Those names have been memorialized in that water feature there. What do you feel 24 years later?
I feel that when God calls you to a place, even though you don't know what you're to do, you should go, because he wants his presence in every situation. And so, yeah, I had deep emotions writing the story. And one of the things we had was these helium balloons.
I saw these. You'll get these pictures in the book. I don't know if you can see any of those. I don't know if you can see all the...
And they said, Hope of Heaven in gold font.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so we were able to put 200 helium balloons circling ground zero with our Hope of Heaven balloons. And I didn't know how we were going to do it. We didn't have helium tanks. We didn't have a way to get inside by the actual fence. And so just on faith, I called the police department and I said, is there any way we could just have permission? Didn't know how we were going to do it, but can we honor God by focusing people's minds and hearts on heaven? And they said, it was like they were waiting to help us. They said, we're going to get you the helium tanks. We're going to escort you to the ground zero, and we're going to help you put the balloons all around ground zero.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was just God saying, sometimes the only way you're going to find hope is to look up. And with those Hope of Heaven balloons, I mean, I believe it was really something God put on our hearts to do.
What was the mood of the city 9 days later?
It was really sad, because you still saw the pictures of all the people that were lost. And it was just a reminder that on that day that women that were wives became widows. And children that had fathers became fatherless. And so it was very, very sad, but I had incredible experiences. We went from fire station to fire station, and I had experiences with the firemen, the ones that survived, telling us what happened to them when they went up the stairs, the ones that made it out. And there was one story about Father Judd. He was their chaplain. And he was a character. He was Irish. Everybody loved him to the core. His plan was he was going to go to heaven before his boys, and he was going to distract St. Peter so all the guys could get in. Yeah, that was the plan.
Okay.
And my friend that shared me this, he was the first one that was victim of 9/11, because he was the first one that actually went and they had him as the first death. And so when I went to the fire station to give our T-shirts to the firemen, I was talking to a fireman named Joseph, and he said, when I walked in, he said, I want you to know you're standing right where we put his body.
Oh, really?
And then he went on to tell me who he was. He said he was the kind of guy that he would walk by you during the day and he'd ask you, he'd go, hey, how's it going? And you'd go, oh, I'm okay. Well, then about 10 o'clock at night, he'd call you and say, what's going on? So he knew his men. And at his memorial, I think there was over 5,000 people. The Clintons were there. He was just such an important figure. When my friend Joseph, the fireman, when he went up to his casket, he put his hand on his hand. And he said, all of a sudden, he said, the joy that Father Judd expressed in life went through me.
Yeah.
He said, I felt the complete happiness of him. And then he went back in line again, because it was a long line of everybody that wanted to give their last respects. And he put his hand back on Father Judd again, and he said, don't give me so much. Save it for the other. I mean, it's just incredible story.
Have you been back since then? Okay. So let me say to our viewers, I had more time, we're just out, but let me say this, the book, where will they be able to get the book when it comes out?
Evangel.
Okay, so it's called Remembering 9/11, We Will Never Forget. There's a picture, really kind of a mock-up of the cover of the book by Debbie Hicks, and I have, this looks like the one it was taken from, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so right here is kind of the manuscript of the book.
Right.
And that will be, it's in print right now, it'll be published and it'll be out, so thank you. You're an amazing person. What's this one here?
Well,
oh, that's the big...
yeah. Somebody made this for us, and...
what's it? Let's see. Well, God Loves New York.
And
so does Southern Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That looks great. Good. Well, thank you, Debbie, for coming in.
Oh, thank you,
Okay.
Perry.
And again, be looking for the book coming out sometime in February, Remembering 9/11. We'll be right back.